Uh, for me, I grew up in a household where I had an older brother who was, the star athlete. He was also a bad kid, so he had that on, on lock. Then I had a little sister who was really really smart, and she was the baby. As a middle child, there was nothing that kind of separated me, and I just started, being silly and doing impersonations of Urkel and stuff like that, pulling my pants up, and it became like whenever my mom would have like a kickback, she would invite all these people over. She'd wake me up in the middle of the night, like, Mark, come over and do Urkel. And I'd be
Right.
doing those impersonations, and I got that laugh. That first laugh, it was like a drug. I was like, yeah, I need more of that in my life. And so I've always wanted to do it, but I think my I didn't start until I got a little bit older and I had a little bit of life experience, and it was like, oh, this makes sense. Let me do this now.
Going up. Right.
Mm, for sure. Richard Pryor, easily. Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, uh, Kevin Hart, because I'm a storyteller, and then oddly enough, Sinbad. Sinbad's always in the conversation for me. He's one of my favorite because he does it. He's so clever and witty, and he does it clean. And that's amazing.
Back to me. Like, I guess besides making people laugh, what do you like? What's your ultimate goal for your comedy to do? Like, what do you exactly want like your comedy to really like exude on people? Like, besides making them laugh, like what's really like the message or like type of delivery you want to give to the audience?
Right. So for me, it's always about being a vessel and always about bringing joy and laughter to people's. So I've had people come up to me after a show, and a lady was like, my brother passed a couple weeks ago, and I didn't even think I was gonna make it to the show, but you guys made me laugh to a point where I got a little bit of relief from the hurt, and that's my end goal, where I can where something that I created can bring somebody so much joy that they can help with the pain that they're going through. Like I said, so my end goal, like success for me, is if I'm traveling the world and doing what I love to do. Like I have no desire to be famous or anything like that. That's not really important to me. If I can
Hmm.
make people laugh and they can enjoy and they can connect and feel what I'm feeling in that moment, I'm good with that.
That's good because it's always a good feeling when I think I always said to myself like some of like the greatest reward that you can get in this life is like knowing someone's genuine gratitude. Like I don't really
Hmm.
reward, but knowing like that person really appreciated what I did, I think that matters more than anything.
Exactly, and that's exactly the thought process. Like I said, that reward is you can't put a price tag on it. It's just it is what it is.
Do you recite a lot of like your material, or are you one of them people who want to like write it down and then kind of make it, or like kind of like have like a skeleton when you
Mhm.
by yourself to kind of like go over what you gonna say or what you gonna do, or it's kind of like you just gonna wing it?
I do a little bit of all of those things, oddly enough. So I write jokes. I always tell people, like, listen, if you're a comedian, you need to write. So I write my sets out now, but I don't do it as a like I don't do it like robotic. Like, okay, I say this at this exact moment. I leave room for me to freestyle. So every show I do, I do at least one or two jokes where I don't write, and like it's something I kind of force myself to do. I actually enjoy doing it more now that I'm getting better at it, where I force myself to freestyle, go off the cuff, and just interact with the crowd because I know those moments are authentic and they're real, and it's something people can always remember. If I made you laugh with something you were talking about or something you were going through, and I did that, so I do that. I also kind of like I said, I have a little bit of improv where I can just kind of go off the cuff with some other stuff and just come up with something on the fly. But for the most part, like I said, I definitely write and I do recite jokes in my head, or I'll be walking around just talking and to myself, having whole conversations and doing sets in my head. People be thinking I'm crazy, so sometimes I just put my Bluetooth in my head so like I'm talking to myself. So that's kind of how I justify that.
Yeah, I know I talk to myself a lot, so I'll be having to look like I'm not psycho or anything like.
Oh no! Listen, I'm cool with it. Like I said, the Bluetooth was the greatest invention. Like I said, when they put those earbuds out, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put these in. I don't have no musical. I don't be talking to nobody, but I be walking and having whole conversations with my hands and everything. But
Has
it
there
is what
ever
it
been
is.
time where you felt like the most embarrassed when you were in front of an audience? Like you were like in the middle of a joke and it was like, ooh, this is gonna like bomb or something like that.
Yeah, every comic who's ever done stand up has bombed at least once. And if you haven't bombed, you haven't done stand up long enough, or you're not doing it. You're not doing it at the right crowds. I remember one time, one of my worst bombing stories is I was still new and I was thinking that I had to write, a new 5 minutes every week. I thought I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just come up with new material every week. That's how good I am. And I'm on stage, and I think I was up on stage for like 35 seconds at the time, and I was trying to have this new joke. And because it was a new joke, I wasn't confident in it, and it didn't convey on stage. So what happened was I was at the show, and I could see these two black dudes in the front row, and they was like, "This dude is terrible. They're like, he should never do it." Like, and like it was so quiet in there. I heard there, I could see them. Like it was this bad. I was like, "Yeah, that's my time. My name is Marc Fazon. Y'all have a good night." Like I think I did a minute of stand up. I left that night, and it took me like 2 weeks to come back.
Right. Is
But
there
like I
a
said,
joke
but I'm
you
is
are
part
most
of it.
is there a joke that you are most proud of?
Mm. I think the jokes that are true to my family and my actual personal experience, those are the jokes I'm the most proud of. So if I do a joke about my kids or about my lady or somebody in my family, and it's there's like a lot of truth to it, those are the ones that I'm really proud about, because it's my truth. So if I can make people laugh talking about something that's real to me, that's amazing. That's something that's really big for me.
Did you always know that comedy was like your destiny even when you were a kid, or did you have to realize that as you got older, like this is what I was intended to do?
I had to realize it when I was older. So I've always been, I grew up in the church, so public speaking wasn't something that was, it was I was afraid of. So I was always doing that. So I've had stage presence, but I didn't think I was stand up funny. I thought I was like conversational funny. Like, how you're having a conversation with somebody, they can make you laugh.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that was it. I thought that was my ceiling. And then I got on stage one time, and I like I said, so it was a combination of years of me thinking and coming up with these concepts. I had a 5 minute set that was actually decent when I first started. So when I did it, it went really well. So I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. And like once after I realized that, I had to kind of get back in the lab and learn how to, structure a joke or structure a set, like, and write it out. So no, it wasn't something that I knew at a young age that this was my purpose or my passion, but it was something I learned as I matured and developed as an adult.
So you know that there's a lot of like comedians like Steve Harvey and like Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle who did a lot of like they did a few like acting projects as well. Like they did a few movies like Think Like a Man and
Mhm.
like Half Baked, like a few movies like that. If you were given the opportunity to do like a mainstream movie, who would you work with? Like who would be some of like the comedians you would work with, and would you actually take the opportunity?
Um, so there's nobody I can honestly say I wouldn't work with the exception of probably like Tyler Perry. I'm not against Tyler. I'm just not his core audience. So I don't enjoy his movies. I love what he's doing for his studio and everything for black people. I think it's dope. I just don't want to be in none of his movies. But other than that, hey man, let's work. Let's get to it. So because I think acting and stand up are hand in hand, like, and improv, they're all kind of in the same vein, and they're important. I think my stand up actually elevated once I started taking acting classes.
Do you have like a mentor or someone that you enjoy working with?
So mentorship and enjoy working with a little bit of both. So mentorship and working with comedian Salads. That's one of my guys. We write together, skit ideas. If I'm on the road, he's typically with me, or if he got a show, I usually roll with him. Sister Lou, she's another one of mine. But like there's so many people. But mentorship wise, I would say Damon M. Cherry. He's one of my OGs. Like I said, he'll give me some game all the time. Road to Realist Will, Danger, and then Mark Gregory, and then Hey Jay Thompson out of Cincinnati. These are my OGs. These are the guys that will, you know, pull me to the side, and if they see me moving in a certain kind of way, they'll let me know. Or if I got a question about something, like I'll get a gig and I'm like, I don't know how much to charge. I can call any of those guys up and and tell them the scenario, and they'll get back to me rather fast. And like I said, these are guys that I consider big time things. And then there's another guy, he's out of Houston, named Marcus D. Wiley. He's a big time comedian, and anytime I reach out, he takes time to hit me up and give me feedback anytime I've ever reached out for it. So I've always appreciated those kind of guys. So those are guys I consider my mentors, though.
Do you have like a favorite like comedy series currently?
Ooh,
Something you've always
currently. Uh, I still enjoy the Chappelle Show. Like I still watch it as if I've never
right?
seen every episode. Like it's still good to me in that vein. So, but like I said, but a comedy series, it wouldn't consider like a comedy, but it kind of is a different world. That show is still relatable. It's comical. It touches on so many different aspects of society. I love that show. So that's something that like I said, every so often I just watch it.
That's my favorite show too. So I hear you.
Okay, so you already know.
Yeah, I've been watching ever since I was young. I would sit there with my brother and we would sit there watching. I went to his show at Summerfest a couple of years ago.
Okay,
Can you
those
give
are
it
amazing.
right? Can you give advice to comedians on the best way to like get excel your craft?
Um, right. Hit the mics as well. So like you got a network as well. So it's not about who you are and how good of a comic you are. Sometimes it's about who you know. Sometimes it's about being at the right place at the right time. You have to network. You have to be at these open mics. You got to be at the shows. I've paid my money to go to a show to support another comic. He see me in the audience, was like, "Hey, bro, you trying to do some time?" I was like, "Yeah," and just staying ready so you ain't got to get ready. So whenever an opportunity comes to get on the stage, a lot of time I'll be like, "All right, let's do it." Now I'm at a point in my career now where I'm not just jumping on random stages for like a little quick 5 minutes or anything like that no more. But if the right opportunity comes, I'm not gonna turn it down because, like I said, because who knows who could see me because of that opportunity. So I'm always down. So like I said, I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. So that would be my advice. Like I said, so stay ready, keep writing, and keep working on the craft. Keep hitting those shows, and always networking and be professional. Because I said these bookers, they talk and they know who's showing up late and who's going over their time, who's not respecting the light, who doesn't
Mhm.
respect other comedians. All those different things are factors. So you treat this like this game like a real job and treat it with professionalism. You'll be all right.
Is there a comedic career that you would feel
Is there a comedic career that I would what now?
that you would still like if you could trade places with them, you would like do it?
Mm, as much as I would like to say there is, I can't. Like I said, I think every journey is your own. And for me, where I'm at in my career is exactly where I'm. Like I said, what's meant for me is for me. So I can't like I said, as much as I would like to say, oh yeah, I want to be the number one guy. That might not be my journey. My journey is just to do what I have to do. So I honestly I can't steal another man's or another woman's shine or thunder. I'm good where I'm at because when it's my time, it's gonna be my time.
That's fair.
Hmm.
Are there things that you refuse to joke about?
Uh, yeah, like there's certain stuff I said like mass shootings and rape and different sexual assault stuff like that. Like stuff like that, I stay away from. I try to stay away from like a lot of politics stuff. Like I said, I'll tap on it like if it's a current event, but I try to stay away from things that I can't like I said that I wouldn't personally be talking about on my day to day. Like so, if I can only share my perspective on something, I can't go up there and talk about oh yeah this the Republican Party, the Democrats is this. That's not really me. Now, if I'm having a conversation, like I can do observational humor, but it's not really my area of expertise. I'm more so of a storyteller. I'm going to share my life with you and the different perspectives that I've had on that. So I'm not going to talk about anything that I can't personally relate to or I haven't experienced. So, and there's certain stuff I just like I said, I personally can't make funny, and I don't want to.
I guess y'all know I remember watching, what was it, the All Star Comedy Weekend that Monique had hosted, and Corey Holcomb
Yeah.
last one. And
Corey is he's a
yeah,
wild boy.
and there was a couple of things I'm like, I don't know how he did it, but they still were laughing. Like, but I guess he one of the people that can pull it off. I feel like
Yeah.
that's for everybody. So
Right. And that's exactly it. Not everybody can pull that stuff off, and you have to have a level of confidence and a level of I just don't care what people think to in order to do that. But like, hey, I would never tell a comic, oh yeah, don't do that joke because you'll alienate somebody. I mean, hey, listen, if you got a joke and you think it's funny, I say do it. I just personally, I'm not doing that. I personally enjoy the road. Like I love it. Like I said, driving, flying, whatever you got to do. I just enjoy being around comedy, doing comedy. So it's as crazy as it sounds, even though I've been doing comedy myself, I'm a fan of comedy still. Like I just watched Marlon Wayans do special. I go to the shows. I'm there critiquing. I'm giving notes and tags. I'm literally I love comedy in the sense that I'm always trying to be around it. So like I can talk about comedy for hours and still be like, oh yeah, go home and then call somebody, but hey man, you what's going on with the comedy? Like I'm all about the comedy. So yeah, so touring doesn't bother me at all. I love it. I think it is my perspective. Like I said, like because each person, your perspective is different. So there's a level of relatability that what makes you funny. But when you come at it from a different perspective, that is what what makes it unique. So I think that's what it is for me. Like I said, I try to, talk about what I know and my experiences and what I've dealt with. And I've been successful with that. I think everybody was extremely proud. Like most of my family, like my brother and them, they was like, "Oh, what took you so long? You should have been doing this type situation." They like none of them were surprised or like, "Oh my God, yeah, this is not you." Like they all was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, Mark should have been doing this. He should have been doing this a long time ago." So they were extremely proud and supportive. I have a really good support system. It goes a long way. So whatever you're doing, if the people behind you or beside you are supporting you, you can be successful at it. You just, like I said, your team is what matters. Overall, my family, and my relationships, and then the opportunity that I get every time I get to touch the stage. Because like I said, some people never. Like I said, some people want to do stand up comedy or want to sing or rap or whatever it is that they love to do, and they never get that opportunity because they're they're scared. There's some type of obstacle, and to praise be to the Most High. I've been fortunate that I'm able to do what I love, and I've been able to do it successfully. So that's a big one for me. Challenges wise, I would say I guess getting booked, by certain bookers or getting on certain shows or getting in front of the right people. But like once again, if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. So anything worth doing is going to be a little challenging. It's going to be some hard work you got to put into it. So for me, it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that I'm looking forward to. It's a challenge that I'm interested in. So anybody who's ever told me no, that's like, oh, that's motivation for me to get that yes out of you. And once I get that yes, it's like, I got you now. You got you in my hooks. I do occasionally, like, cause like I say, cause I know that interaction is, that boosts your views and the number of people who see your content. So I look at the comments because I like to respond. Like I said, so if I got a post that's doing really well, I'm trying to engage and respond because the more engagement I get, the more people that get to see the post. So I'm looking at it like that. But like if it's something negative. It depends on the day. Like I said, you might catch me on a day I might be in a really nice mood and let it slide. But you might catch me on a day where I'm being petty and I'm looking at pictures of you from the third grade and I'm roasting you on my page. So, depends on the day. First things first, you wake up, you say a little prayer, thankful to the big man upstairs for, waking you up. And, I like I said, on show days, I kind of like I said, I go over my set list, get make sure I got everything together, get my camera stuff together, make sure the fit is popping, and I like to get to the venue a little early, get a lay of the land. So like I'll go to a show early, and I don't like lie about it, but like I just be talking to people as if I'm a regular like person who's there, who's watching the show as well, and I'm getting to know people and I'm getting information about stuff that I'm gonna talk about on stage. So like I'll go to a show and I'll just be sitting there talking and have my conversation, and people don't even realize that I'm actually a comedian who's going to be performing. So I'm just kind of relaxing and just seeing what's going on. And then the second I get on stage, I'm like, oh, my friend Shelly back there, she got two boyfriends, and one of them's here tonight, and it's like, oh my god, everybody goes crazy because I said it's something personal, and like I said, so I said I try to. That's a typical day for me though, for show days. I've met him already, but I would love to sit down and just talk comedy, talk shop with him. Is Dave Chappelle. I would like I said, literally, I could talk comedy for hours in general, but with somebody who's a savant like he is, I literally we would talk for hours on top of hours. Yeah, so Chappelle would definitely be the comic, the comic that I would like to talk to the most. One of my favorite moments is I was doing a show with the Funny Bone, and I had a really really good set, and it was such a good set that when my time was up, and I was like, oh, that's my time. My name is Marc Fazon. The audience went all, and they didn't want me to leave. I don't think I've ever had a moment like that before. That was like I said, one of my favorite moments. I have to say, was for people to be upset that I was getting off stage. It was unrealistic. Nah, I'm not a diva. I said I show up. Long as there's an audience there, a mic stand, and a mic. I'm usually pretty good. As long as I get some water after I get off stage, I'm cool. Like I don't have any rituals, anything like that. I say a prayer before I go on stage and do what I got to do. For this year, I have, I've been bouncing the idea around. I got a couple gigs that I'm headlining, so I got, that's 30 minutes to an hour of time I get to do, and if one of these shows goes well enough that I think I'm going to record it, and maybe I'm debating if I'm going to release it as a special or if I'm just going to use the content to just promote additional shows. So I'm gonna just chop it up. So that's one of my big goals, and then my goal is to travel to some different states that I have not been to yet. So I'm actually in the works to I'm booking some shows in Chicago, Illinois right now. I think May is the dates for those shows, and I'm in Indiana this month. I think I got to check my calendar again. So I got a couple shows that are outside of Ohio that I'm really excited about. Like I said, that's like I said, traveling and just and doing it. Those are always my goals. So every year, my goal is to go somewhere further and further. So either this year or next year, my goal is to do a show on somewhere like I said, somewhere pretty far like California or Texas, somewhere that's a little bit further. And then next year I would like to do a show internationally. I would love to go, I don't know, maybe do a cruise or something like that. Just, be somewhere outside of the United States.
What do you do on your time off?
Um, I kick it with my family, chill with the homies and stuff like that. I don't do a whole lot. Like I said, getting older, so I'll be relaxing. So read a good book, watch some TV. That's about it.
And have you surprised yourself this year already, or are you still waiting to be surprised?
Um, I'm still waiting to be surprised. I say, because it's like I said, because everything that I've accomplished is everything that I believed in myself that I can do. So I'm not too surprised about anything that I've achieved thus far. I put the work in, I prayed, and then I put put my big boy pants on and went and did it. So I'm not too surprised anymore. So it's just waiting patiently for things to kind of unfold.
Okay. And from like this point forward, where do you expect to take your career?
The overall goal for me is to travel the world making people laugh. So that's always the end result, the end goal is just to travel the world, going from city to city, state to state, internationally, locally, globally, where like I said, listen, I'll go on the moon and tell some jokes if I have to. I want to go all over the place, and I want to put smiles on people's faces. So for man, woman, and child, whoever's in the audience, I'm trying to make you laugh. I'm trying to tickle those guts.
Okay.